So, imagine you're 4 years old. It's the year 2001. Your parents have gotten you your very own PlayStation, and your first thought is, what the fuck's a PlayStation? You pick up the controller for the first time, and you pick a game. Your choices are The Lion King Simba's Adventure, the Mortal Kombat trilogy because my parents were awesome, and a game called Spyro the Dragon, which you pick because it's a fucking dragon. And this is your first video game experience, and it's pretty magical. You love every second of it. Then your sister loses the game and you must wait till you're 17 to own it again. So yeah, this review is going to be very biased for obvious reasons. But fear not, I do have my problems with this game, and I will dive deeper into that a bit later. But first, let's talk about the game's basic plot. The plot of the game begins with an interview that is taking place within the Dragon Realms. When the reporter asks about Nasty Nork, this dick insults Nork, and in response, Nork turns all the dragons into crystals. Except for Spyro, who's too small. Then he steals their gems and uses them to make an army of Norks. So Spyro must go on an adventure across different worlds, fighting 6 bosses, and free all the dragons. Get all their gems, and their dragon eggs, which we will get to later. Spyro's story is simple, which isn't bad for what the game is aiming to do, but it is somewhat lacking because we see Nasty Nork once in the opening cutscene and then at the final boss fight, and never in between. The lack of exposition means we don't have a well fleshed out villain, so the story's okay. But how about the gameplay? The gameplay is simple. Press X to jump, press it mid-jump to glide, press triangle mid-glide to fall onto your ass, press square to charge and circle to fire breath, L1 and R1
do a barrel roll,
and L2 and R2 to attempt to control the camera. But it feels like you're fighting another person to do it. This uncooperative camera really gets annoying. While trying to make difficult jumps or glides, even while fighting enemies, it's a challenge to point the thing in the right place. It's little niggly things like this that stop the controls from being really amazing. This game is actually quite easy to finish. Fuck, it's easy to 100% if you're collecting everything as you go. Of course, this being a 90s 3D platformer, you can bet there's a shit ton of collectibles. Firstly, you have dragons, which you will find in most every level, and when found, can be used as save points. Secondly, you've got basic gems, which you'll find lying around in chests and when you defeat an enemy. You will need enough of these to convince the balloonist to bring you to other worlds. That's literally all he's there for, and I never found any trouble with this because if you collect enough in the first 3 worlds, you could just skip to the final level. I never did this, but it's just another problem with the game. With its difficulty anyway. Finally, you have dragon eggs, which are being held by thieves that you must chase down. They're really annoying, and I guess that's enough about that. There aren't just your average platformer levels, you also have 1 flight level per homeworld, located in a portal like all the other worlds, which requires you to collect / defeat 8 of 4 types of items or enemies within a certain time frame. You get the gems for each one you complete, a bonus set of gems for getting everything done within the time frame in one go. These challenges are nice to break up the gameplay, but the problem with these levels, and every other level for that matter, is you've got everything in them, you have no reason to return to them. So what's the point? The bosses in this game are a joke. They all attack with a set movement pattern, and I was never killed by a boss while we were playing this game. That's enough about the bosses, because I've covered fucking everything. The regular enemies, on the other hand, were awesome. They don't just walk back and forth on a rail like a typical platformer enemy. They actually were programmed to interact with Spyro, like running away from him when he comes charging at them. Or, if you left the game idle, when you're too close to them, they will come up and attack you, then laugh at you, and taunt you when you got hit by them. It's a nice change to the moving obstacles from Crash, Mario and Sonic games. But that's enough about the gameplay. Let's talk about the music and art design. The music in this game was composed by the police drummer Stuart Copeland, and it's great. It gives a lot of life and atmosphere to the beautiful coloured worlds. The art design in the game is going for that Saturday morning cartoon feel, with a bright, vibrant colour palette. Spyro stands out from his environment, whereas my one and only complaint with the art design is the green gems sometimes blending into the green grass. It's not too bad because the gems often sparkle. It's a small gripe, and did you know Spyro was going to be green, but because he blended in with the grass, they changed him to purple to solve the problem. Spyro the Dragon isn't as good as I remembered it, but it's still pretty freaking awesome. I thought it would be as thrilling as I remembered it when I was a child, but now I find it very easy, which is nice for a casual sit down. I had fun, which is all that really matters for a 90s platformer, because that's what the aim is. It's a nice game to sit down and complete. Even simple things like collecting everything and unlocking Nasty's loot were worthwhile because it's so fun. I've tried to stop myself from being blinded by my rose-tinted glasses, but I feel like I'm justified by giving Spyro the Dragon a 7 out of 10. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's not awful. It's good for an opening to a great trilogy. It's a lot of fun, yes, it's simple, but that works for the game's strength.